Hey y'all, what is up? Welcome back to my channel, AJ Steps of Alchemy. I am Coach AJ. If this is your first time here, welcome. If it is not, welcome back. It's been a while. So, there has been so much that has transpired in my life, and I know I've been in and out. At one point, way back when I first started this channel, I was posting like 5 times a week, sometimes 7 days a week. So, I have been taking these hiatuses and they most of them have been unplanned. So for sure, I branched out and did a few other podcasts from DNA, and those podcasts are still up all the way to Dropping Gems. Those podcasts, most of those are no longer up. We had those on a different platform in which we closed down. So I've done a few things as far as podcasting. And then I did interviews of alchemy. So that's still a thing. I only did one interview last year. So if you did not watch that with JT, go check that out. It'll be somewhere in the recommended videos, somewhere in the box, either now or at the end of the video. So y'all gonna see. But catch up with that. So this time I'm back. It's 2026. It's the year of the horse. It's a lot of ish going on. So today I am going to talk about the fact that I just recently got diagnosed with ADHD. So if you all know, I had been diagnosed with lupus back in 2020. That was a whole process in itself, right? Since then, I've also been diagnosed as chronically anemic, which I knew already. This isn't anything that was new. Anytime I got blood work done, they were like, girl, your iron is low, your ferritin levels are low, all of it is low. And it's like, oh, okay. Kind of already knew that. To the point where I was in high school, I couldn't even donate blood or plasma because of my critically low iron. So finally, my rheumatologist reached out to me on a random day and messaged me like, hey, have you ever saw a hematologist? And I'm like, what's that? And he was like, yeah, no, you need to go see a hematologist, which is a blood doctor, about your chronic anemia, because that can also be aiding to the fatigue and the headaches and the exhaustion and all the things that you go through, the brain fog and all of that. I was like, oh, well, let me go check this person out. I started going to a hematologist, and it's like a hematology oncology center. And I started getting iron infusions. So now I get those quarterly on average. I was supposed to only get two because that generally gets people together, as they told me, for the rest of their lives. But apparently my body said, psych. And now I get them quarterly. And it's been about 2 years now since I've been getting them. So yeah, that's that whole process. And now it's the ADHD. So I got diagnosed with ADHD, panic disorder, and sleep wake disorder. And I have mixed feelings about it, right? I've had my suspicions of having ADHD. I have a few neurospicy friends. And the podcast I was on, Dropping Gems, everyone was neurospicy. And I kind of figured I was, didn't know in what capacity. But like, I can hear energy and frequencies and stuff. Like, the fluorescent lights. I can hear when the TV is cut on in a other wing of the house on a different level. I can hear little shifts in the air and atmosphere, and it can be bothersome to me. Little things that don't bother other people generally can bother me. It was little things, the way I stem and how I process things. I was just like, So I rented out the DSM from the library at the end of last year, and I decided to look into ADHD along with some other ailments. In that, I was looking like, oh, snap, this is me, especially the inattentive type. And I'm like, this really resonates, like real bad. And I'm like, okay, so now what? And it took a minute for me to kind of feel compelled to seek a psychiatrist and get an evaluation, because I was like, I kind of know I have it a little bit. I'm going to just do what I do. If you guys don't know, I am really into like biohacking and optimal performance and things of that nature, and tweaking my environments and my body and all the things, and trial and error and guinea pig and myself, all the things, right? So I'm heavy on supplementation. I'm heavy on like dietary changes, lifestyle changes, all the things. But recently I've been struggling way, way more than I have been. Like it's been people who know me know that I'm generally late to a lot of things. And if it's money involved, I try and get there as early as I can, which I'm generally on time for things like that, but it's really hard. I'm not gonna lie. It's not that I don't give a damn. It's just my concept of time has always been skewed. And this is a nearly lifelong thing. Since I've had autonomy over my time, since a teenager, I've been late. So this is something that I've struggled with. It's not a respect thing on other people. And once I leave the house and I am literally en route, I give people real estimations like, hey, I just walked out. My ETA is this. If it changes, I'll let you know. And I do. I keep people updated on that because I want them to have a realistic expectation of my arrival. Like, I'm not trying to disrespect people. I'm not trying to be fashionably late all the time. I do be swaggy and whatnot, but I'm not trying to be late to the functions all the time. And so causes an anxious about me because I'm rushing to get there in time. And then that's like a thing like, okay, I have this event. I know I have this event at 5 o'clock. Andrea, you got to be there at 5 o'clock. Don't let my hair go wrong, or don't let my makeup not be sitting right, or don't let me get caught up in a song while I'm getting ready. And then I sit down and I get overwhelmed because I can't find an outfit to put on. Like the one I picked didn't look the way I wanted it to, or I'm just not finding the vibe right. And I sit down and I got to regroup. And then it's like, okay, yeah, now I can go. And then I'm pulling up an hour late, like, or 30, 45 minutes late. And it's not acceptable. I'm not making excuses for it. And I'm consistently trying to improve on that. I'm not satisfied with me being late all the time. I'm going to continue to try to set up systems and mechanisms so that I can be more successful and improving in that. This is not an excuse. It's not an end all be all. I'm just letting you guys know that I've historically struggled with timeliness. And that is a symptom of ADHD. So that resonated with me. The anxiety part, let's say I was in denial. Anxiety for me in my situation, a lot of the times I ignored it until it turned into a full on panic attack. Like, and I rarely get panic attacks, but it does happen like occasionally. So, unless it turns into a full on panic attack where I'm having heart palpitations, I'm sweating, maybe I get nauseous and I throw up, that's rare. But anxiety, general anxiety, it's like I start tapping. I can't sit still. I'm tapping my foot. I may pace a little bit. I may shut down. One thing my body is good at, shut her down. You're going to take a nap. F it all. Go to sleep. Like, I would disassociate and be like, I'm straight. I'm good. And people would be like, are you okay? And I'm like, yep. hmm I'm straight. I'm about to take a nap. And I'll just go to sleep. And then I wake up. The problem is still there. I come to a point of acceptance where I'm like, okay, now what are the solutions? What can I do from here? And I oftentimes don't recognize the emotions that I hold from said problem, right? So said problem happens. I feel away initially. I don't like it. So I go to sleep. I wake up and I say, F it. What's the solutions? Because I ain't about to be stuck on this. Like, that's it. And so, the body keeps score, right? And I tend to have delayed reactions. So mind you, I said earlier I have lupus. And so with that being said, sometimes it turns into me having a flare because lupus, especially in like my case, some people have sun sensitivity, some people, seasonal changes that affects me as well. Lack of sleep and stress will put me all over the edge. Like I will go into a full out flare up. And flare ups can last anywhere from a day to weeks at a time for me. They've been extended as of the last 2 years. And it's been like, woof, this is rough. So I've had weeks long flare ups. I've had a lot of situations with those. So luckily, I haven't been hospitalized on like some inpatient type stuff. So I'm so grateful and I'm blessed beyond measure because of that. But I do want to be sure that I'm addressing the emotional issues that I have with things in real time now instead of like I'm straight. Cause it's like that meme with the dog and sitting in the kitchen and the whole kitchen and house is on fire. And he's sitting at the table like everything's fine. And I realized like people outside, I'm specifically talking about people outside of my closest circle. Okay. Cause my circle, y'all know me, y'all know how I do, y'all are fire. But the people just outside of it will it they'll I don't want to say ignore me because it's not a blame, it's not a malicious or facetious act, right? But they're like, "Oh, she looks okay, so I'm not gonna check on her." It's the strong friend syndrome. So a lot of the times, and I'm a life and wellness coach, right? Just because I'm a life and wellness coach, that does not absolve me of my own issues. Let me say that. Just like therapists need therapists, we all need help, and it's for light workers, right? Or health workers or wellness workers, whatever you want to call us, healers. I'm a conduit of healing. I'm not a healer, right? But I am a conduit of it. We take on the burden, massage therapists, right? We take on the burden of other people. We take that energy on. We take those stories, all of that emotion on from other people. And then we help transmute it for them, right? And then we have to transmute all that energy for ourselves that they gave us in our own energy, right? And I'm also a mother. So, like, I got to be on my ish because I'm taking care of my kid. I got to be emotionally available for her. I have to be emotionally available for my circle, my village, and I have to be emotionally available for my clients and most importantly, myself, right? Like, so it takes a lot of it's an additional toll. It is. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. Let me say that. But I love being a mentor. I love being a life coach. I love being a wellness coach. Like, this is what I do. This is what I love, helping others. I'm extremely successful at it. This is something I'm skilled at. This is who I am. It's not just what I do, it's who I am. I help others. I am in service to others. But in order for me to be in service to others, I have to be in service to myself first, right? I need to fill my own cup and everybody else gets the overflow. So when I am feeling anxious, when I am everything's fine, cool beans, like, and I'm going back home and I'm just sleeping, and I'm supposed to be helping my daughter with her homework, but I pass out as soon as I pick her up from school, and then we gotta cram and do homework at 9 o'clock p.m. Like, it's stuff like that, and it's like, oh, these are symptoms and signs of like mild depression. And anxiety and depression can have similar symptoms, a little overlap. And ADHD can be causal of anxiety and depression. So there's not only a correlation, but a causation component to that when it's untreated. So I was falling into a spiral, and it was all right. I got all these things. If I love something, when I tell you, if you know me, you know this to be true. I can delve into a topic 1000%. Like, I have so much random knowledge in my head that I could just pull up out of the archives when I need it. I'm talking about from quantum physics and mechanics all the way to the spiritual, all the way to like practical living outside, homesteading, survival kit stuff, like anything besides like pop culture because I don't watch TV. But like those random facts, and you're like, why do you know this? And it's like, oh, I went down a rabbit hole. Don't worry. I spent like 2, 3 weeks on this. And this was every living, breathing, waking moment was consumed by this. And I looked up research papers and studies and all the things. And yeah, now it's just there. And every now and again, I refresh myself on new information as continuing education. But until then, like it's just in the stores. And then I update as necessary. I can hyper focus on some things. I can learn. I love to learn. I learn as a hobby. When people ask, what do you do for fun? It's learn. I listen to audiobooks for fun. I listen to personal development podcasts. I read. I do all the things that I can learn, practical skills that I can better myself with, or I can help others better themselves with. So I love to learn. However, if I don't find a topic particularly interesting, it's over. Let me tell you how in middle and high school, I struggled with this so much, even college, struggle with this, but high school in particular, K through fifth grade, I went to a Catholic school, private Catholic school in Detroit. After that, I left and went to a public school in Grosse Pointe Woods. When I got in the school system in Grosse Pointe, I realized that I was critically behind. Our curriculum had nothing on Grosse Pointe school's curriculum. I had a lot of catching up to do. So when I came in at sixth grade, I initially struggled because I didn't learn none of this. Like, so I had some catching up to do, and that gave me the sense or the I felt compelled, right, to hyper focus on a lot of things and to catch up. So I was motivated to do so, and I did it. Shortly after, though, after I kind of got caught up with the curriculum and with, the landscape of things, right, I kind of started slacking again. And then high school, I had all this autonomy, like, but you got your electives. I was really good at that. I even took AP psychology, was in Shakespeare, had over credits in English, all the things. English, psychology, sociology, Spanish. Those were my shits right there. Love them. Love them. Math, nope. Science, nope, which is crazy because I loved chemistry. Combination of the two, right? And I've learned to love these topics as I got older, as became an adult, and I was like, oh, these are really important to know. Like the keys to life, math and science, right? So in math and science class, I would oftentimes fall asleep. Science class, I failed intro to bio and had to take it again as a junior. That was freshman year when I failed it. As a junior, I had to retake it. I struggled with my grades so much. I did not do my homework. Homework was damn near obsolete for me, unless it was like an essay or like a group project, then I would do it. But generally, as a rule of thumb, homework was not getting done. If I found a class boring, I skipped it a lot. Not gonna lie, I would just leave. They had a performing arts center, the PAC. I used to duck off in the PAC or be in one of the dressing rooms or leave campus. And I had a portable DVD player. I would watch my DVDs or whatever. I would sit and I would chill until the next hour, and then I would come back because I don't want to be here. Like, why am I in this class? So then I started failing a lot of classes, and they're like, "Hey, girl, you ain't gonna graduate. So what you want?" And it was some static between me and my mom, and she was like, you're not gonna graduate anyway. So what you going to prom for? Like, I'm not investing in no prom dress or nothing like that. My dad came in and he handled all the prom stuff or whatever and allowed me to still plan. But they were like, if you don't pass your finals, girl, you ain't passing. Like, you're not graduating. And I was like, whoa, who ain't walking? Say less. And I passed all my finals with flying colors. And I passed all my classes and I walked and I graduated when I was supposed to. Cool beans, right? My mother was like, so you were capable this whole time and you was just BSing, basically. And why were you failing? And I'm like, the sustained effort was not, it wasn't working for me. I can excel at tests. I don't mind taking tests. I don't get no test anxiety. I may be like a little roused up and I'm like, okay, I just reframe that. I'm excited. Whatever. I'm excited. But nothing out of the ordinary where I'm fearful I'm gonna do bad or fail or whatever. No, I game on. Let's go. And I usually excel at tests. That's never been a problem for me. It's the sustained efforts where I was like, mm, nah. So you mean to tell me I work all day in school and then I gotta go home and do this same work? Bye. I got a social life. I got stuff to do. I got random facts that I want to learn. Like, I gotta go chill at the mall. I'm a 90s baby. Like, the mall was where it was at. Like, I was outside having fun. And it's like, yeah, no, I didn't know those were signs, right? And because of ADHD, historically, young boys get diagnosed more than young girls. Why? Because girls are socialized to behave a certain way. We're not supposed to be like running up and down and doing all this and fidgeting and moving and woo, jumping off. That's more of a boy thing, right? So the hyperactivity doesn't always show. If you're an intelligent young girl, it tends to get overlooked because you're smart. Like, so you're not hyperactive and you're smart. Just do the work. That's basically what you get told. So all my from middle school on up, it was especially high school. Oh, she has so much potential. She has so much potential, so much potential. Every parent teacher conference, every progress report, every report, so much potential. Now, in certain classes, psychology, AP Psych, sociology, English classes, they're like, oh, she does well. Cool. She's talkative. I was a chatterbox, as y'all can see. This is why I'm on YouTube now, right? Uh, but she's talkative as hell, but she's doing well. And so my mama see like so much potential, but then what's what's up? You're just choosing not to behave. You're choosing not to. And let me say this: yes, I made choices because I'm very adamant on yes, everything we do is a choice. Period. So I take accountability for my actions. Let me say that baseline. So we all are here on an understanding. I'm not making excuses. I am taking accountability for the actions that I chose, the course of actions. Didn't understand why I was making those choices though. So yes, I made them. Didn't understand the logic behind it. And I'm one to understand the whys, right? That's what drives me, the why behind things. So I wasn't understanding why I made these decisions. I just thought I was rebellious. I'm a rebel without a cause. I'm a teenager. This is what teenagers do. Sure. Now, other teenagers were more successful in their high school careers and in their grades and extracurriculars and all the things, but not I. And so it became a thing to where at some point, certain things I didn't even want to try because it's it's so much potential. But the curiosity in me, they say curiosity killed the cat, but the last part of the phrase is satisfaction brought it back. So I always had a curious mind. And although I would be closed off to some things, I would self study those things. And I would find a different teacher or a different method of being taught. And it would click. So, like math, I struggled with in high school, just basic math. Like, bruh. It was sad. I ain't gonna lie. I was calculus, trig, please. I need to get algebra and geometry down first. Don't even try. Like it was y'all, it was bad. So I remember I went to Marygrove in my freshman year. I cannot remember this woman's name, my teacher. She was a nun, sister something. But all that to say, she was writing on the board and she was explaining how to do this algebraic equation, right? And when I tell you the light bulb went off in my head because the way she explained it, and I was like, can I answer this? And she's like, yeah. And I answered it. She's like, that's correct. And I'm like, oh, snap, we got it. I was so hyped. And I'm like, oh, I got it now. All these years, I just didn't have the teacher that connected with my brain, who explained it in the way that I needed to. But she did it. And I was like, oh my God, I get it. So I was more successful in math from there, and that kind of propelled my love for math and science. Shout out to Mr. Amore though in Grosse Pointe North. He was the chem teacher, and when I tell you he made me love chemistry, that's what really got me into science. It was him in chemistry because he was a very like eclectic teacher, right? And, and he did some of the most wild stuff, and it was so lit. Like, and I used to love putting things together and making stuff and all the things. But those kind of propelled me, and I'm like, okay, so I have an affinity. I can learn better on certain types of teachers, certain types of ways and structures. But others, I'm just like a no. No. If you talking like the clear eyes guy, that's a no. I like long form content. Short form is cool. Vine was decent. YouTube shorts are cool, but I like to delve deep. That's why I always make long form content. I struggle with short form content. I always have. Like trying to keep things under a minute for like IG at one point. I'm like, fan base still stuck at a minute. And I'm like, I don't know if I could cut this down anymore. So I just don't post on fan base anymore. Like, not as much because what am I going to do in under a minute? It's so much to go into, so much detail in it, so much nuance in these topics. And I think we miss out on so much because we want to turn everything into a soundbite. You can't explain everything in a soundbite. So shout out to like platforms like YouTube who keep it the option for long form. You know, they promote shorts more so now. You get on the algorithm better if you got shorts. That's a fact. But this is still the house of long form content. TikTok, they open it up for more long form content. We need these platforms. So I have the capability to indulge in long form content and in the nuances. And I could go into rabbit holes and I could watch a 3 hour video, turn around, take a breath, go watch another 3 hour video on the same topic, turn around, take a breath, go do my own due diligence, look up some research papers. Like it'll be the next day and I'm like, oh, I ain't sleep. Now I'm fatigued. Now I don't have the capacity for the stuff I'm supposed to do, like my actual responsibilities in life. So these are all like some of the historical context of what I went through. And at a point, it was like, okay, I have my suspicions. And I am hitting a point where recently I had a work project that I needed to get done. And when I tell you, it was two projects I was working on. One was redoing my website, which I have procrastinated and put off for years now. Like it's been about 2 years, right? Went and did that. Cool. It was just time, right? And I'm like, okay, and working with AI, I'm not gonna lie, I work with AI. Because for my brain, AI as a virtual assistant is top tier. Like it helps me organize my thoughts and business ideas and helps me with execution. And then there are like apps and sites like Zapier that can connect apps that don't talk and all the things. And it's like, oh, you can get a workflow automation here. This will do this. If somebody reaches out, this does a triggering event, yada, yada, delegation through technology. I am ever so grateful for AI for that. Yes, I have a stance on AI, and I don't like the fact that they poison cities. That's a whole that's a whole thing for me. So, yeah, I try to use it in moderation. I don't overly rely on it, but I do utilize it. And so, all that to say, me and Chat GPT were working on my website and redid that. And I was like, all this procrastinating I was doing for 2 years, I tried to hire somebody and I just didn't like the rates or their vision for my site. And I liked the way Chat GPT did it along with my own vision. And I was able to curate it that way. Did that, redid the whole website in about 4 to 5 days. Had a project, another project on the other end, right? I knew I had it like a month and a half, 2 months prior. It is still yet to be completed. Right now, today, still yet to be completed. And it's to the point I open up the papers, I start shuffling because it's a very tedious manual task, right? I get them papers out, I start reading stuff, I start putting numbers together, all the things, and I will fall asleep on the floor. My mind will be like, yep, short circuit, and I'll just check out. Or I'll just stare at papers and be like, now I know this stuff. I know what I'm supposed to do. It's not connected. It's not working. It's not doing anything. So again, I was diagnosed with lupus, right? Lupus can cause brain fog and fatigue, physically and mentally. And I get like lupus headaches and migraines and all the things, right? Then I was diagnosed with low iron, right? And having low iron means your blood cells don't get enough oxygen to distribute through your body. Guess where it doesn't distribute to? Your brain, right? So that causes mental fatigue, actual fatigue. If it's low enough, you can start fainting and all that shit too. Mhm. And all these other traits. So there's some overlap. So where I have lupus right here, then low iron right here, Venn diagram, right? Real loose one. And then you throw in ADHD. I wasn't thinking that's that. I'm trying to figure out, is it lupus? Is it low iron? So I'm supplementing all these things. I'm making all these lifestyle changes, right? But I'm like, nothing's working. Nothing's working. Come ADHD. Sorry, my camera is moving because one of my cats is right here. But in comes ADHD, and it's like, oh, add another one to the Venn diagram. Like this is starting to look like the Olympics rings. Like I don't, I don't know what this is. So now I have to troubleshoot. Which one is this having this effect? Or is it just the fact that I didn't sleep well the night before? So now I'm understanding with the diagnosis that, hey, my brain isn't always set up. It's a dopamine thing. My brain is not set up because there's no reward system. Now, granted, finishing the task is a reward in itself for me personally. I love to finish things. I do because it's a sense of relief. Like, no, like, oh, the weight off of my back, my mind, my energy, my aura field, amazing. But in the process, there's no dopamine reward for me doing this. Like, I don't want to do it. And so my brain is like, nope, we ain't doing it. Protest. Like, we're just not going to do it. And so that brought me to a head where I'm like, I don't know what's going on with me because I am trying. I'm actually trying to complete these things. I'm actually trying. And this is my side gig, right? That I was doing this for. Mind you, that's a side gig. I run a business, like as a life and wellness coach. I have a mentoring business on my own, and then I mentor for another company that I contract with. So I'm getting sent out to various schools to mentor these kids. And then I'm a Girl Scout troop leader. So we got to do Girl Scout meetings. Then my daughter is in swim class. I got to make sure I get her to swim. Then all the other things, chaperoning field trips, homework every night. Like energy. I have a social life. I have my daughter Monday through Friday most days. Now my mom does take her back and forth. Her dad has her on weekends. So like getting to school on time, struggling. You hear me? Struggling. And and like even the smallest of things, it's like, oh my goodness, why is everything so hard? And then I just became overwhelmed. I disassociated. I said, F it. I don't want to do none of this. None of it. I'm out. But when you're a parent and you're an adult and bills needs to get paid, you can't just be out. I can't just be out the game and be like, oh, I don't feel good. Mm. Rent check due. I don't feel good. What does that mean? Where's the money? You got to make money, baby. Like the world doesn't stop because you don't feel good. The world doesn't stop because your brain isn't working. The world doesn't stop because this, that, and the third. And unfortunately, it's set up like that. America is a capitalistic society, hyper capitalistic society, right? To the point where they put money before humanity and health, way before humanity and health, right? So when I'm going through all these things and these ailments and all that stuff, it's I still got to show up. There's no other choice. Who gonna tap in? Like, so you got to keep going. And I'm like, I need help. I need help, like real bad. And so I took the diagnostic evaluation, and it turned out the ADHD inattentive type, and the panic disorders, and the sleep wake disorder. And so it was a sense of relief because I'm like, I have a name for it. I understand that I have a name for it. But the way, like I said, I have delayed reactions, right? Because things are what they are. Que será. What will be, right? So I have the diagnosis. Cool. We can name it to shame it. Now I know how to structure it. So that part felt relieving. That part felt good. But the amount of grief that hit me a few days after, dang near crippling grief. And I'm still dealing with that. When I tell you this is like really new, like I'm talking this week. All of this just happened this week. I'm sitting here on a sprained ankle right now that I sprained about 3 weeks ago that still hasn't healed. I got a lot going on, right? And all these things are just so much, right? And then my house is disorganized. Well, it's better now. But generally, like there's a level of disorganization here. There's a lot of I'm spring cleaning and I can't spring clean because my ankle. So now I got all these tasks looming up in my head that I can't really complete because my ankle, I'm not supposed to be on it and I've been on it. So I haven't healed. And I don't want to go to physical therapy, but I may have to now because I did too much on my ankle because I couldn't stop. Because if I stopped, it would never get done. And it causes anxiety when I don't complete my task or at least start the task that I wanted to start. Hmm. I needed help. So I was grieving the fact that all this time I thought I just didn't live up to my potential. All this time, I'm like, how can I hyperachieve on all these things? But I get bored by a job, and I historically have left most jobs within a 2.5 year range. And people like that shows lack of loyalty and consistency. First of all, these corporations ain't loyal to us, so I ain't loyal to them. Period. But also, when I typically work with or for someone, I get offered all these incentives and all the we need you, we love you, yada yada. Cool, cool, cool. I turn them down because I don't have the capacity. Like, unless the money is right. But then it's like, okay, I've learned this. Now what? Let's move on to the next thing. I've mastered this. This is cool, but let's move on to the next thing. I'm bored of redundant tasks. Now it's predictable. I don't like predictable. I need something new. Dang near every day. If it repeats, sure, there's some level of structure that I do appreciate and love, right? But if it's overly structured, there's no room for any like randomness. Count me out. I don't like it. So I'm going to leave and find something else that I can do. And I tend to excel. So it's like, how did I feel at school so much when, like, even college, like Marygrove, I got kicked out because of financial aid. I couldn't cover the full amount. It's a private college. It was a private college. RIP Marygrove. They're no longer a thing. But they kicked me out. I went back to school a couple times, right? And it didn't work out for me. And so I'm like, I'm going back yet again for neuroscience and psychology. And now, granted, I've been to psychology. I didn't major in psychology. I got coursework done. I got credits accounted, all things. But I self study psychology all the time. It's not like I don't know the material. It's not like I can't complete it. But when I have to take gen ed before I can take my specialty classes, so I realized I needed help before I got back in school because I'm going back in the fall. I'm already registered. I got all the classes and I need to set myself up for success, right? Because I want my neuroscience degree. When I want it, I get it. It's just a matter of how. And all up until now, I have brute forced my way into getting my way. When I tell you, I worked against my own mind, I worked against my own body, I will buck against whatever is trying to stop me. So, insert personal development, self help, hustle culture, biohacking, all the things that I'm just stacking on top, spirituality, all the things. Because a phrase that I always say, spirit commands mind, commands body. When I get right in the spirit, and then I meditate, I do what I need to do, I visualize, my mind gets curated, and then I could command my body to do what I need it to do. But when that doesn't work, because it's not fail proof. So when that doesn't work, I get frustrated. Then it's like, F it, I'm going to brute force it. We just going to rock with it. And then I end up putting myself in a downward spiral of flare ups, of anxiety, uh, of overwhelm. Because it would be like, I'm tired, yo. I'm tired. I'm overwhelmed. I said that so much these past 2 years. I'm tired and I'm overwhelmed. That's it. That's all. Like, and I would just have crying spells, and I'm like, all right, get up. You can cry. I give myself like a 2 hour to 1 day maximum to grieve and to go through whatever feelings I'm feeling. But you gotta get up again. So I listen to motivational podcasts like Sean Croxton, Quote of the Day podcast. That is my favorite podcast. That's the only podcast I really listen to consistently, to be honest. But he has some amazing content from all types of different creators and successful people. And it's about self help and personal development. I've looked into David Goggins. If y'all know who David Goggins is, y'all know I was going off the deep end trying to will myself to do some shit because that man is damn near inhuman. And I'm trying to David Goggins things out. Like, then it's like, okay, maybe brute forcing my way isn't working. So I'm going to like wellness my way into doing it. So on the flip side of that, if that doesn't work, I'll troubleshoot the opposite way and go, okay, well, I'm asleep. Cool. I'm going to go get a massage. I'm going to go do a float session. I'm going to do cryotherapy to make sure I don't get inflamed because I know a flare up is coming or I'm in one already. And I'm gonna eat good. And then I'm gonna have a little social time. Cool, cool, cool. And then I'm gonna get back to it. But then it doesn't matter if I'm yin or yang with it. Hustle culture, relax like wellness. I still couldn't find that balance in where I could manifest or do what I want, complete what I wanted to complete. That led me to getting tested. It was a lot of things that led to that. But all in all, I'm grateful I did. I see some traits that I have with my child. And now I'm in the process of getting her tested for ADHD. I'm not trying to push a diagnosis on her. Let me say that. And medication is not the first option. It's not one of the top three, actually. So I'm not trying to push pills on her. I'm not trying to like push a diagnosis on her. Oh, I'm going through this, so she is too. And I know I curate the environment that she lives in, right? So some of this is environmental, but also a lot of it is I see those traits that I possessed all my life in her, the disorganization, having a hard time being fidgety. You just fidgety and you stim a little bit, but not enough to get in trouble, but enough like, and then when you're in a safe space, you all over the place. You got consistent zoomies. You just don't know how to sit down or whatever. You excessive talking, cutting people off when they talk. Like all of these things my daughter has. And some of it is just kid shit. But there are a lot of things where the forgetfulness, the disorganization, the lack of prioritization, the lack of being able to follow multi step directions, despite being taught over and over and over again. Yes, I'm going to continue to reinforce it so that she learns, but we're going to try different tactics. when she struggles at school with certain topics, but when she comes home and I teach her, she gets it and retains it because there are certain ways that I know to implement a lesson that she will be receptive to because those are the same ways that I learn, right? And it's like, oh, she's 8 now. She's in the 3rd grade. She's going to 4th. Let's get this handled now so that we can get an IEP. We can get the time. She can get extra time on tests. She actually excels in tests as well. But if she needs more time on a lesson, if she needs a different structure in which she's presented that lesson so that she can sustain that information, whatever support and resources that she needs, let's get that done now. So she doesn't grow up hearing, oh, you got so much potential. Cause that's gonna trigger me. I'm gonna go off the deep end. Like, no, like she is not the potential. She's thriving now. You just have to learn how to, interact with her mind. And, it's a lot with neurotypical and normalcy and whatever the fuck. It's not based on women. It's not based on people of color. It's white men. Those are what studies are based on. Even ADHD, white boys, hyperactivity. You can't sit down, you talk too much, you impulsive, all these things, lack of emotional regulation and all these things, right? Don't listen when you're spoken directly to. But they don't consider the socialization of girls. They don't consider girls don't present like that. They don't consider girls are like, I still have to nurture and take care of people. I still have all these responsibilities. The weight lies on me. They don't talk about the mental and emotional overload that we get and what that looks like. And sometimes it's shutting down, sometimes it is hyperachieving to survive, but then we're failing in so many areas behind closed doors. It's ridiculous. And I think that needs to be overhauled to where it's inclusive of everything, everyone. I don't believe there's a thing such as normalcy, right? But that's just me. Moving on. I always got my little notes and things to make sure I don't forget things. And that's another thing. I have to make lists for everything, right? Lists in my calendar. If it's not written down, it does not exist. So if I had an event I was supposed to go to and I have it in my calendar, my phone, or written down on one of my 5 whiteboards, 2 calendar whiteboards, and then 3 blanks. If I don't have it written down to where I see it consistently to be reminded, it does not exist. So yeah, I have to write things down in all these lists and then I got to check them off. Why do you think I came up with a productivity planner? That was for me. Like, it's because I was struggling. I needed to learn how to turn my time into gold, how to be successful and do these to-do lists and still find motivation to do it. So that's why I start off my productivity. And this isn't a plug, but that's why I start off my productivity list with gratitude. 5 things. Think of 5 things you're grateful for. Gratitude to change your life. That is a good motivation for me to get up and start getting moving. Like, okay, started off with gratitude. Then I go into, okay, what were some of yesterday's wins? Name at least 3 wins from yesterday before you even get started on making your goals today. What did you do yesterday that you completed, that you are proud of? Some wins, little dubs or big dubs. What was it? I'm not from the West Side, y'all. That wasn't a gang sign. But like, what was it? Name those things. And then we can get on to planning. And then we do the Eisenhower effect, like the tiers. Okay. Tier 1, prioritize. It's urgent and a high priority. Like, let's get to that. Tier 2, then tier 3. These are ones that you can delegate. Try to delegate. Like, how are you feeling this morning? And there, I'm coming up with more planners because each time I come out with a planner, I think of some other ways that I can refine it for my own success. And it's like, okay, this may work for a certain demographic of people. This, my first one was very basic, same page every day, daily. Cool. That works for a certain demographic of people. The second one is more for a consistent crowd because they're in order. So you got a monthly, you got the monthly scripting, you got the weekly planner, the calendar, and then you go through the daily, and then you have the weekly reflection when you end the week. So, with that being said, you kind of have to stay consistent because if you fall off, you got to skip some pages. You can't just go back to the pages that you missed, you know? So, that was a critique of my own journal where I'm like, sometimes I do fall off. So let me make another one soon. Let me go back to the original, the first journal, so that I can continue to build this habit so I can be more consistent and graduate to the second journal. And then I just use multiple things for that. So I have a new one that I'm working on. It's going to be a minute, but I'm working on it. So where it will be more ADHD friendly, and so that we can kind of take note of where our mental state is when we wake up. At the end of the night, if we want to get our day planned for the next day ahead of time, so we can go to sleep with a sound, quiet mind or quieter mind, right? And we're not thinking of all the tasks looming over our head for the next day. We can actually wind down, right? I used to, I got the Samsung, but I turn the blue light filters on at night, and I used to have my blue light blocker glasses. They broke. So I need to get more. But there are things that I'm doing that I am already implementing right now, like taking supplements. So there's a myriad of supplements that I take for various reasons, right? So I'm gonna just name some things and then we'll go from there. Some of the things that I realized work for me: magnesium, heavy on the magnesium. It calms my mind. I'm switching my routine because I usually take it in the daytime. But because I struggle with sleep, either falling asleep or staying asleep, I am going to start taking magnesium at night, magnesium glycinate to be specific. So that helps calm my body and ease my mind. L-tyrosine, because I took caffeine pills. Well, I take caffeine pills. I'm not gonna lie. So it's like I would pop a caffeine pill if my energy messed up, but the caffeine pill doesn't do it. I got a tolerance. I got a high tolerance. So I drink coffees, I drink matchas, I drink teas. I have an extremely high amount of caffeine intake most days just to hit baseline. Like this isn't some superpower stuff. I'm not getting to super level to where I'm all hey bouncy and amped up. No, this is baseline. So I could be like, hey y'all, I'm here. Right. But that's short lived. So I do L-tyrosine caffeine because it helps with focus also, and L-theanine as well. That helps with focus. So I kind of mix a cocktail of things so that I can make sure. And if I don't take caffeine, is I think it's called paracetan or something like that. I take that because it's a caffeine derivative, but it doesn't give you the jitters like caffeine. When I was going to the vitamin shop for my caffeine pills, they ran out, but recommended those. And I took them and I finished that bottle and I was like, oh, this is good stuff. But then I didn't go back up there and I went and got some caffeine pills from Walgreens. So I actually need to re up on those. Glutathione, that's more so for my body. It's one of the strongest antioxidants you could take, the most powerful and potent for the body. So, yeah, I take creatine. Creatine is really good for focus, for body recovery, for all the things. I know people usually take creatine and or they hear creatine and hear bulk. I want to bulk up. I want to build. I want to yada yada yada. Y'all, I'm thick, but it ain't because of the creatine. Let me tell you something. Like I was like that beforehand, right? Creatine has helped me a great deal. And it even helps women specifically with like PMS symptoms, cramping, all that, way less when you take creatine consistently. So I urge you to do your research and due diligence on that because it has a lot of benefits, a lot. And body recovery, if you do have those physical exertion days, high physical exertion days, you bounce back quicker. Glutamine, I take that, and that helps with the gut barrier as well. So your immune system is in the gut. So because of that, I've had, because of anxiety as well, due to ADHD and all the things, I've historically had gut issues. So somewhere between 2014 and 2015, when I was working at this marketing agency, I was hospitalized and I got diagnosed with diverticulitis, gastritis, and I had two stomach ulcers. Oftentimes for my flare ups, I take ibuprofen. That is very hard on the gut lining, especially when you take it regularly. So, with that being said, I take glutamine to reinforce my gut lining because one thing I learned that diverticulitis is something that is not curable. It's treatable, but not curable. Mind you, I just said I got diagnosed in like 2014, 2015. I'm just now realizing it's not curable in 2025, the end of 2025. And I was like, oh shit, I haven't been doing anything to sustain this. Let me get on glutamine. So I started doing that. So that's fairly recent. Like that was like November, December ish. Cool. It's been working well for me. So I take that. CoQ10, that's for lupus. Well, I take it for lupus, not specifically for lupus, but it helps with the anti inflammatory. It helps keep my flare ups at bay. What else do I take? I should have made a list. I take my regular multivitamins. I take slow release iron pills and a few other things that I'm probably missing. But the most, I take nootropics. So, yeah, there are some nootropics that I take for my mental focus and acuity. I even chew neural focus gum. So, all this to say, I have a lot of things that I am trying to target between lupus, low iron, anxiety, ADHD, and a mild form of insomnia and undiagnosed, I don't know, whatever, sleep problems, right? So, I am on a journey, starting a journey where I'm going to start sharing with you all the things that I'm doing. As of yesterday, I purchased a weighted blanket. So that was nice to sleep with last night. I'm going to start being more mindful. Y'all, I don't know if y'all remember when I had my aura ring some years ago, it mysteriously disappeared. And I hadn't purchased another one since. I have since purchased one and I will have one tomorrow. So next video, y'all see me, I'll have an aura ring on my hands because I need to start tracking my sleep again. Not only tracking the quality of my sleep and how long I'm sleeping, sleep wake cycles, all the things, and how much REM and deep sleep I'm getting, but also I need to track the triggers and markers leading up to my sleep. So, what's my temperature, my body temperature before I went to sleep? How does that affect the quality of my sleep? I know at some point 72 degrees was the sweet spot of my house temp that I needed to go to sleep and get the most restful sleep. Because if you're too hot, your quality of sleep goes down. If you're too cold, it's just your quality of sleep goes down. It's uncomfortable, right? So, but cooler temperatures historically have been better for quality sleep. There are other things when you work out during certain times of the day. What does that look like? When you do yoga, when you have a nighttime routine, what does that look like? And I have to sleep train myself because I'm a night owl. So, like I said, I have issues going to sleep in the first place and then staying asleep. So I tend to be up late, like real late. I don't really go to sleep till like 3 in the morning on a consistent basis. And mind you, I got to wake up at like 6:45 to start getting my daughter ready for school on weekdays. So then I'm taking naps throughout the day and all the things. So I just take a series of naps and that sustains me or has somewhat sustained me to where I'm living today, but it could be better. So I'm trying, and people who have more consistent sleep regimens actually live longer. Who would have thunk it, right? So I am trying to retrain myself in a sleep routine and see what is the most optimal sleep. When do I need to stop eating before going to sleep so my body can really rest instead of working on digestion? It could restore itself while I'm asleep if I wait 3 hours until I go to bed or don't eat until 3 hours before I go to bed. So, yeah, those are things that I'm implementing now. I also have I had a red light. Well, I have a red light therapy box, but that's more so for healing the skin and the deep layers of the skin and for sicknesses and all that stuff. I bought a circadian rhythm light that mimics the sunlight way better from Amazon. And so in the mornings, because it is imperative that to get our circadian rhythm, it's imperative again that we go outside in the sun shortly after we wake up, get about 10 to 30 minutes of sunlight. I'm in Detroit, right? So most of the time, most of the year, it's like winter isk. We just did our spring forward. So when I wake up, oftentimes it's not light outside yet. With that being said, it's pretty hard to wake up and get 10 to 30 minutes of sunlight because there is no sunlight to get yet. I'm already started my day routine by the time the sun does come out to where I don't have the time. So I bought a lamp to help me until summertime where it's easier to get that light when I wake up because it'll be out earlier. So I bought that. I'm going to start utilizing it tomorrow morning. So when I wake up, I'll have it set up, sit in front of the light. And while I'm sitting in front of that light, I'm planning my day and I'm getting all that together. And then I stretch and do all those things. So I'm going to do some trial and error. I'm going to be sharing with y'all my journey because it's been a minute since I've done this. And yeah, we're going to be going from there. Let's see. That's basically everything. So, welcome to my journey again. It's been a minute. I hope you guys enjoy this. I'm not just going to be talking about ADHD or lupus or my diagnoses, right? I'm not just going to be discussing this. I'm going to really get into like the biohacking, the business and the lifestyle of biohacking. I'm going to get into parenting and intentional parenting and what that looks like for me and my household. I'm going to get into life and wellness coaching, the wellness world, and speaking about that, giving my tips and all the things. So it's going to be a myriad of content that I'm coming out with. And I'm still going to be doing my interviews of alchemy. I love speaking to other people. I love learning from other people. I love sharing people's journeys and seeing how that's tied with the growth of their business and the health of their business or entrepreneurship or what have you, their skill sets, right? So because I think they're interwoven, right? They're correlated. So that's basically it. Thank y'all for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to get notified of any future videos that I upload, any shorts, anything like that. And yeah, stay tuned. Follow me on all the socials or whatnot. AJ Steps of Alchemy. On TikTok, it's AJ Steps of Alchemy. On IG and Facebook, that as well. Or you can follow me at Ms. Poetic08, MIZZPOETIC08 on IG, because that's my personal one, and I'm usually on that more. And then if you find me, facebook.com/Ms. Poetic08, tell me you found me on YouTube, I'll add you. And then you could join the Alka Tribe, which is my Facebook group. And we talk wellness and all that jazz there. So I've been on a social media leave for Lent and I am back. So if you haven't seen recent activity from me, that's why, but I am back. So thank you for watching, and I'll holler at y'all next time. Ciao.